Hi friends, and welcome back to movies I watched this month. So typically these videos are filmed weekly because I usually watch anywhere from, and I just really liked it. I thought the score was great. I loved the ending. I thought the pink fairy dust and I thought the magic of it all was just so beautiful, because a lot of the time these films, though they're ridiculous or like outlandish, charming and fun, this one specifically having an element of like magic and time travel was just really fun to me, and it made me want to watch like Minutemen or something. But I'm not gonna ramble. I'm not gonna give you this synopsis. I say this every time and I fail, but I'm also really hungry, so like but to the movie, I mean, I'm assuming you've seen it. If you haven't, it's really phenomenal. It's corny, it's cheesy, it's fun. The only thing I had to say was Jenna Rink is supposed to be 13 going on 30. So why was 30-year-old Jenna Rink acting more as if she was like 8 or 10 turned overnight? Like, she seemed a little too immature at some points where I was kind of like, at 13. I mean, granted, that was the 80s. When I was 13, like, I was too exposed to some things on Omegle. From start to finish, I've only ever seen little snippets, and I actually the whole time just kept thinking of the Thank You Next music video. But 13 Going on 30, directed by Gary Winnick, is available somewhere. I don't know where. Girl, I'll put it right here. But it's also on cable all the time. And the logline reads, "A girl sick of the social structures of junior high is transformed into a grown-up overnight. In this feel-good, goofy fairy tale, teenager Jenna wants a boyfriend. And when she's unable to find one, she fantasizes about being a well-adjusted adult. Suddenly, her secret desire becomes a reality, and she's transformed into a 30-year-old. But adulthood, with its own set of male-female challenges, isn't as easy as it looks." You guys should totally like hire me to do that professionally. And of course, Jennifer Gardner as Jenna Rink, and hot ass Mark Ruffalo. Are you kidding me? Ooh, like, he didn't look that good in Mickey 17. He looked good, but he didn't look this good. Granted, this was 2004, but I think men get more attractive with age, personally. What do you think? Yeah. He played Matt Flamhalf. I absolutely love this movie. Perfect, 5 stars, amazing. I think when people say, like, they don't make movies like they used to, I may be ignorant, but I assume everybody's talking about, like, feel-good rom-coms from the early 2000s. She's the Man, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh my god, the list goes so undercover. The list goes on and on and on. But I thought this movie was so fun, and I love how every rom-com, the girl's working at a magazine as an editor or fashion designer. Her closets drip down in Manolo Blahniks and Jimmy Choos. I have one of each from The Real, so I'm building my closet. But that is literally what inspired me to want to, like, work in like media and have a magazine, and then also talk about film. And like, I've always wanted to have a column in a magazine, and it was because of these movies, because not only do they have such a beautiful representation of like a girl boss in a way, but it's also, the romance is never like he saved her. It's more like she was on her own and then love happened along the way. But to the movie, I mean, I'm assuming you've seen it. If you haven't, it's really phenomenal. It's corny, it's cheesy, it's fun. The only thing I had to say was Jenna Rink is supposed to be 13 going on 30. So why was 30-year-old Jenna Rink acting more as if she was like 8 or 10 turned overnight? Like, she seemed a little too immature at some points where I was kind of like, at 13. I mean, granted, that was the 80s. When I was 13, like, I was too exposed to some things on Omegle. And I just really liked it. I thought the score was great. I loved the ending. I thought the pink fairy dust and I thought the magic of it all was just so beautiful, because a lot of the time these films, though they're ridiculous or like outlandish, charming and fun, this one specifically having an element of like magic and time travel was just really fun to me, and it made me want to watch like Minutemen or something. And I just really liked it. I thought the score was great. I loved the ending. I thought the pink fairy dust and I thought the magic of it all was just so beautiful, because a lot of the time these films, though they're ridiculous or like outlandish, charming and fun, this one specifically having an element of like magic and time travel was just really fun to me, and I just really liked it. I thought the score was great. I loved the ending. I thought the pink fairy dust and I thought the magic of it all was just so beautiful, because a lot of the time these films, though they're ridiculous or like outlandish, charming and fun, this one specifically having an element of like magic and time travel was just really fun to me, and it made me want to watch like Minutemen or something. And I just really liked it. I thought the score was great. I loved the ending. I thought the pink fairy dust and I thought the magic of it all was just so beautiful, because a lot of the time these films, though they're ridiculous or like outlandish, charming, and I just really liked it. I thought the score was great. I loved the ending. I thought the pink fairy dust and I thought the magic of it all was just so beautiful, because a lot of the time these films, though they're ridiculous or like outlandish, charming, and fun, this one specifically having an element of like magic and time travel was just really fun to me, and it made me want to watch like Minutemen or something. Cinematography great, score great, production and costume design fucking iconic. So if it's on cable by you, turn it on, watch it, have a look. Otherwise I'm sure it's on streaming, and hopefully Paige put that down there for you, because I'm not looking it up. My computer will start overheating and then we'll have to pause this whole shebang. Okay. The next movie I saw in theaters, I did not get to see in IMAX, unfortunately, but it was still a magnificent experience, was Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler. Obviously, you know this film is fucking amazing. So many people have talked about it, and so many people have done such a beautiful job talking about all of the layers that are in this film, from racism, blues music, Irish heritage, the yin and the yang symbolism, like good versus evil, everybody's a little bit of a sinner, vampires, which are my absolute favorite, and like traditional vampires where you have to ask to be let in, which is a huge plot point in the film, compared to my typical Twilight where they just like sparkle and have a Volturi, because like what? Incredible. The first time I saw this theaters, I had chills go down my spine, all the hair on my body stood up. It was just such a extremely tangible trailer, and I was like, I have to see this, and I love vampires, of course. So let me read you the logline quick in case you have no idea what's going on, which, oh my god, how lucky for you, but also catch up. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. We have seen plenty of doppelgangers this year. Theo James in The Monkey, Robert Pattinson in Mickey 17, recently in You. I can't remember her name. Paige, please put it in here. She played twins in the final season of You, which was great, by the way. We should talk about that sometime. Not now. I'm busy. We're talking about Sinners, but in the future, if you want to, comment, let me know. And now Michael B. Jordan in Sinners. And out of all of those performances, flowers to all of them, Michael B. Jordan's hands down was the absolute fucking best. After 20 minutes of seeing him, you forget that there's two Michael B. Jordans, and you think they're two separate individuals. Their mannerisms, the technicality behind the ways in which they shot that and had to like predetermine what Michael B. Jordan was going to do so the body double could mimic that, and just the amount of technique that goes into that acting performance, but the technique that goes into the cameras and the choreography and everybody else having to do the scene like twice and him having to memorize all the lines. Just everything I've seen about this movie, all of the interviews I've watched, all of the videos of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan talking at length about the cinematic achievement of this film, it being the first and only film shot in both IMAX and 15 perforated film. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I told that to a stranger today and I hope I didn't give them misinformation. As like somebody who's just in love with film, these are the kind of movies that make me want to be like, I want to direct a fucking movie. Like, I want to do something that magnificent. I don't know if I could do something as magnificent as Ryan Coogler, but also just how incredible it is that he's going to get to own this after a certain amount of time. And I also watched Fruitvale Station directly after this movie because I wanted to see him and Michael B. Jordan working together, because the only other film I'd seen was Black Panther, the first one, when it came out in theaters, which obviously it was like best cinematography of all of the Marvel movies. Out of every single Marvel movie, that one has the best cinematography. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe, but they're in space, so like not really comparable. One of my absolute favorite TikTokers, and she's a writer, speaks at length about the importance of having Jack O'Connell's character Remick be an Irish vampire. There's also obviously the KKK is prevalent in this film. The history of blues music and how it influences all and any other kind of modern day music genre. Haley Steinfeld, I'm from Buffalo, so that was like a pretty big deal here because she's engaged to Josh Allen. I have a review on TikTok about this, kind of, not really. I just loved this film so much. I loved the music. The music bled through the entire thing, and that's why it was so tangible. Music, similar to cinema, is a language that unites so many people. I listen to Bad Bunny and I don't speak Spanish and I have no idea what he's saying, but it's like you can feel the emotion and then you research the lyrics. But anyway, the blues music and just the score is so fucking incredible that it like radiates your bones. You're like sitting there like, oh my God, I wanted to get up and dance. And the climax of the film, or I don't know if it's technically the climax, but like the huge dance sequence in the middle where the roof is literally blown off the place. It's just, it was such a tangible movie, and those are the best. Those are the ones that make you literally be like, whoa. And then to have that incredible dance sequence at the end and another vampire attack, very Dusk Till Dawn, which Ryan Coogler himself said they drew inspiration from that. It was just fucking amazing. Smoke goes out and that's when we meet Annie, played by Wunmi Osako, who was just so absolutely stunning, but so captivating, and she genuinely was the heart of the film. She was the heart, Sammy was the soul. And the ensemble worked so together in the latter half of the film to like portray these two competing forces. I just truly thought the film was so fucking amazing. Duh. So it was like one of the greatest theatrical experiences of the year in terms of like seeing that on a big screen. It was just amazing. It was amazing, and I loved the ending. And stay till the end of the credits because there are mid-credit and a post-credit scene. It's just, I mean, he's directed Marvel, so you have that kind of like magnificent structure and just like knowing how to build suspense and like tell a story and then continue it in the credits like once it feels like it's over. It's just fucking great. Ryan Coogler is such an incredible storyteller, and hearing just like his entire journey of becoming a writer and a director and meeting Michael Jordan and his career is just so inspirational, and he really is like the greatest, like next greatest director. And I think this was such a cinematic achievement, and I'm so glad that I got to witness it like opening weekend, and I just am so interested in learning more about it. I watched Brittany Broski talked about the film as well, and then I've just been watching all of my favorite film TikTokers like analyze the film because they do such a better job than me, because I truly like didn't take any notes. I was enjoying the film so much that I just sat there like, because one way you're gonna win me over is vampires, and another way you're gonna win me over is a really great story. And Ryan Coogler did both, and he did it in a way that was visually stunning and so musically incredible. I need a thesaurus. 5 stars, loved it. It's in theaters. If you have the chance, please go see it. If you could see any movie. I know Pride and Prejudice is back in theaters, but like go see Sinners. Okay guys, the next movie I watched, also starring Michael B. Jordan, also directed by Ryan Coogler, was Fruitvale Station. This is available on Amazon Prime. I think I rented it for $3.99. 2013, directed by Ryan Coogler. Oakland, California, young Afro-American Oscar Grant crosses paths with family members, friends, enemies, and strangers before facing his fate on the platform of Fruitvale Station in the early morning hours of New Year's Day in 2009. So this is the true story of Oscar Grant and how he was brutally murdered by the police on the platform at Fruitvale Station on New Year's Day. And in the beginning of the film, the first shot is a like iPhone or camera video. And I didn't know prior to watching this that this was a true story. I'd never heard this story before, and afterwards I like did research to look it up, and the video is of the events that happen on the platform. And so then when you see that again in the latter half of the film, I had paused and Googled, obviously, and then I saw that, and it was just really emotional and very hard to watch, as any and all police brutality that we are so accustomed to in modern years are on social media specifically. Chad Michael Murray was the cop that just shot him on the ground in cold blood laying there. But this film does such a beautiful job of is like capturing how something terrible or something could just change in an instant. Right before the final sequence of the film, before Oscar is shot, they're on the train going home, and Oscar's girlfriend Sofina, played by Melanie Diaz, who is an incredible actress, by the way, she's sitting in a seat on the subway, and Michael B. Jordan as Oscar is like, I'm gonna go find a place to sit. And he goes to sit down, and a girl recognizes him earlier in the film. They're at the grocery store where he was recently fired from, and she's talking to him, and he's trying to help her pick out a fish. Oh my God, get your words out, girl. And so she recognizes him, and she's like, hello, oh my God, Oscar. And then a flashback that we see in the film is when he's in prison, and the same guy who like harasses him in prison and starts shouting at him and being aggressive yells at him on the subway and like starts getting aggressive and harassing him again. So it's like starts the fight, and then they stop the train, everybody gets off, and that's when everybody kind of like splits, and then the cops show up and drag them off the train, and that's where all of this unnecessary violence ensues, because truthfully and honestly what's depicted in the film, and it's based on the true story, is that there's a fight on the train, and these cops come up the escalator and are on the platform, and they're like, anyone who's involved in the fight, get off the train. And they racially profiled the only Black people on the train because they pointed out Michael B. Jordan playing Oscar and was like, get off the train. You can't prove that he was in the fight, you're just racially profiled. His dog was laying there, and he was trying to help, and then that's when he had the blood on his shirt, and it was just like, it was really terrible. It was really awful and terrible, and this happens still to this day, police brutality and racial profiling, so it's just really hard to watch this kind of stuff. And I don't know what I was gonna say. But the way the film is structured, you're really just like thrown into the events. The day starts and ends, and you're on that journey and spending the day with them, unbeknownst to everybody. Well, knowing now, because obviously I watched the movie, but knowing that that was Oscar's last moments, it's just really heartbreaking to watch. And I think Ryan Coogler did a really great job of telling that story, obviously, but Michael B. Jordan especially playing that role. So it was just really beautiful, and I rated it 5 stars, and I loved it, and it was really great. Next, I watched a Licorice Pizza, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I had to watch it. Oh, I never rated it. I had to watch it twice because the first time I fell asleep, and then the second time I was trying to catch up on what I missed, and honestly, I think it was just like vibes. I know that sounded really stupid, but Licorice Pizza 2021, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, whom I personally love. The story of Gary Valentine and Anna Kane growing up, running around and going through the treacherous navigation of first love in San Fernando Valley, 1973. Keep the ball rolling. Next, I watched a Licorice Pizza, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I had to watch it twice because the first time I fell asleep, and then the second time I was trying to catch up on what I missed, and honestly, I think it was just like vibes. Licorice Pizza 2021, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, whom I personally love. The story of Gary Valentine and Anna Kane growing up, running around and going through the treacherous navigation of first love in San Fernando Valley, 1973. So, Alana Kane, played by Alana Haim, is 25, and Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, relation is uncanny, plays Gary Valentine, and they play love interests. And I just I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. It's not something like I thought much about after, and honestly, I'm telling you, like, I think I fell asleep, and I'm not remembering what happened. I really thought Gary was super charming. I don't believe for a second he was 15, though. That was kind of hard, but I love Punch Drunk Love. I love Boogie Nights is one of my favorite movies. And the way Paul Thomas Anderson has such a feeling, like you could not know that he made this movie, and then after a while you get it because of like how punchy everything is and how vibrant everything is, and it's like you can hear the sounds and feel the colors. Like the final sequence when they're running back and forth to each other and they meet back at the arcade, and it's just kind of like, yeah, that was like, oh my God. I want a guy to chase after me. Granted, I want him to be older than me or my age, but I really thought they had great chemistry together, and I loved how all the Haim sisters were in there together. Like, why am I in this relationship? Licorice Pizza, I don't have really that many thoughts about it. I didn't even leave a review, so I can't, like, Guys, I'm sorry. Licorice Pizza is on Tubi. I rated it 3 stars. Like, maybe I'll have to watch it for a 3rd time. Damn, that's my bad. That's my bad. The next movie I watched that I've been dying to watch and I finally did was Carol, 2015, directed by Todd Haynes. It's on Tubi, and I wouldn't watch it with family and friends. That's all I'm going to say. In 1950s New York, a department store clerk who dreams of a better life falls for an older married woman. Kate Blanchett plays Carol Aird, and Rooney Mara plays Therese Bellivet. Kate Blanchett is just gorgeous and, like, dominating, feminine, masculine, everything like I would want to be in an older woman. The story and, like, subject matter of Kate Blanchett's character, Carol, risking losing custody over her daughter because her and her husband are going through a divorce, and I don't know if he was suing her or, like, using in the custody battle that she was a lesbian and using this morality clause as a way to get full custody, because in the 50s, obviously, you couldn't be an out lesbian, unfortunately. So you're having this extremely emotional, like, tumultuous relationship between Carol and her husband. All the while, this sales clerk, Rooney Mara, plays Therese, who is developing this relationship with Carol, and it's like all of this is happening at once, and this is only fueling this fire, yet it's like, oh my god, they need to be together, so what am I supposed to do? And they both, like, lack the communication to just get to the point, so there's really only one love scene in, like, the 3rd act that kind of, like, rounds out the film, but the cinematography is so beautiful. This movie, like, literally felt nostalgic. Everything about this film was beautiful, which is my favorite word, obviously. Watching their chemistry develop and bloom into this, like, relationship, and the subtlety of touches, which we talked a little bit about in my last video with Queer, and the imagined intimacy and desire of wanting to be with somebody but not being allowed to because legally it's wrong. So I think that's why I prefer queer love stories that take place in the past, because there is that, like, yearning to touch one another in public, because you can't do that, and it's so devastating, and it makes the relationship so much more powerful because they can't be together, which is awful, because you should never be persecuted for your sexuality. There's a lot of, like, banger after banger after banger available on Tubi. I'm not doing any of these films justice. The next thing I watched because I was in the mood for a shark movie was Something in the Water, 2024, directed by Haley Easton Street. And this was another queer one, actually. Kind of, not really. I mean, it was definitely a plot point, but the main plot point was a shark attack. After lesbian couple Meg and Kayla split following a traumatic homophobic incident, their 3 friends are intent on mending the rift during a wedding for Lizzie at a paradise resort. But a pre-wedding boat excursion turns into a disaster, and the wedding breakfast is likely to be the 5 girls. Okay. That logline, like, truthfully didn't really make sense to me. I think I was reading it too fast. Oh, my favorite thing about shark movies are how unrealistic they are. Like, the one that's with Sophie Nélisse from Yellow Jackets that I watched recently, I think it's 47 Meters Down. Fresh water? I don't actually know. But I love that movie so much because they're, like, swimming in a quarry, and then out of nowhere all these sharks come, and they have full-blown scuba gear, and then the dad comes to save them, and it's just, like, this whole thing. And Bree and the Bulldogs is in it too. The first scene of the film are these 2 lesbians getting jumped in a stairwell. They're homophobic, like, incited attack. And then the next thing we know, we're shipped off to these wedding festivities, and I kind of had whiplash. I was like, what's going on? So then you realize, it took me to halfway through the film, but you do realize that the 2 girls are no longer together, and everybody's kind of, like, tiptoeing around the fact that they're in the same room, because apparently that's not normal. And so all of these wedding festivities are going to happen, but before they can do that, all of the girls decide to take a secluded boat excursion to the middle of the water, and they do this so they can drop off the 2 girls and have them make up. Why would you ever do that in the middle of the ocean? A shark comes out of nowhere and they start dropping like flies. The action, because it takes place literally in the middle of the water, is very minimal. It's a lot of treading, which, like, killer core legs and arms, but it's just a lot of treading. Like, There was no swimming or like diving, punching the animal. Like, the girls were also fighting, so there was just a lot of drama happening. It wasn't a lot of action, which was fine. The pacing was like wicked fast. Like, it was over before it started. And the final sequence where the girl, like the final girl who makes it, one girl swims away and goes and like gets help, and then you forget about her and you're like, did she die out there? What's going on? One of the girls sacrifices herself. The final girl in the water, she gets bit, and then she's swimming to like a coral reef that's jutting out of the water that she can stand on, because now there's 3 sharks, and the bite like switches hands. I don't know if anybody caught that, but I got that. The lesbian comes back on a boat, and they like save her from the shark. And there's three people on the boat, and nobody helps her except her lesbian lover girlfriend. And they're basically just kind of like, I forgive you, I forgive you. I rated it 2 stars. It made me laugh. It made me chuckle, but not the best shark movie I've seen. For a fun shark movie, give it a try. Give it a watch. It's fun. It wasn't groundbreaking. If you want like a better one, I would say the one with Sophie Nélisse, the 47 meters down one. Next movie I watched was The Hating Game. I didn't hate it, but like, I didn't like it. And it's a book adaptation, I believe. My sister and I were gonna watch a movie, and I go, we can watch whatever movie you want to watch. It can only be one that you haven't fucking seen. Because she Googles the ending, she falls asleep, and I was like, we're watching a movie together. So, of course, she puts on The Hating Game. I'm like, you've never seen this, right? And then the whole time, she's nagging me. She's like, you got to watch this scene. You got to pay attention. And I'm like, so you've seen this? Because there's a whole Smurf smut subplot. What? The Hating Game 2021, directed by Peter Hutchings. Resolving to achieve professional success without compromising her ethics, Lucy embarks on a ruthless game of one-upmanship against cold and efficient nemesis Joshua, a rivalry that is complicated by her growing attraction to him. So, truthfully, I rated this movie 1.5 stars because there was nothing about it where I was like, this makes up for like the corniness of it, you know? Like, the love story felt super rushed, and then it was just kind of like, and I don't know, I just like, I didn't like it. I thought it was really corny. I thought it was funny. I thought the guy's really hot, but there were just so many things where I was like, what? This is rare. Like, I really never say this on my channel, and I kind of feel bad, but it just wasn't for me. And I really love rom-coms. Like, I think of, when I was thinking of like a comp to this movie, I was thinking of Set It Up with Glenn Powell and Zoe Deutsch. I just didn't really like it. And I think I recently read Book Lovers, and it just like reminded me so much of that, but in like a way that I was like, this could have been so much better. Like, I think the characters were good. They were so specific, like costume design, production design, everything was like great. I just thought that the dialogue and like, I thought the writing was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Damn. Ooh, sorry. I didn't really like The Hating Game. And I think it was on Tubi. I'm moving on. Okay. Anyway, the next I watched was Bottoms 2023, directed by Emma Spiegelman. Obviously, this is 5 stars. I love this movie. I saw it in theaters, and I come back to it all the time. Have you ever seen this? I just assume that everybody ever has seen Bottoms. Unpopular best friends PJ and Josie start a high school self-defense club to meet girls and lose their virginity. They soon find themselves in over their heads when the most powerful students start beating up each other in the name of self-defense. Rachel Sennett, Iowa Debris, Ruby Cruz, Havana Rosalou, Kaya Gerber, Nicholas Galzantine, Mike Flowers, Marshawn Lynch, Punky Johnson, so many more. This movie's great. Score, you got Charlie XCX on the soundtrack, and comedy is amazing. I love that it's a female-led. I love that it's a lesbian female-led story as well. When you think of like comedy coming of age, like iconic movies, I always think of Superbad, Booksmart. I talk about it all the time. But to have Bottoms, like Bottoms is a timeless movie. I fucking love that movie. The comedy is just so great, and I love that it's just a band of girls and a band of lesbians specifically. So it's fabulous. If you've never seen it, like, just stop whatever you're doing, like, turn this video off. It's totally cool. Yep. Now type into your search bar, Prime Video. Yep. And Bottoms is, yeah, Yep. actor. So 5 stars, it's fucking amazing. There's not really anything else I need to say about that movie. Similar, like if we were talking about theater camp as well, I'd just be like, it's fucking great. Anyway, next movie I saw on my birthday in theaters with my dad was Warfare. And Warfare came out this year. It came out this month, actually. 2025, directed by Ray Mendoza and Alex Garland. This stars all of my boyfriends, specifically Kit Connor, and I actually already did a review of it on my TikTok, and I'm not gonna lie to you, my energy is dwindling, and I have one more movie to talk about, so I am going to direct you to my TikTok. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a very distressing experience. I did almost throw up because it was really gory and graphic, and what I said in my TikTok that I'll also say here, when they were doing press for this movie, I watched a lot of interviews, and Alex Garland was speaking about how it was told from memory, and it was dedicated to Elliot, who's one of the Navy SEALs on the mission. Though I don't want to spoil it for you, even though it is based on a true story. But it's told from memory, and part of what they wanted to convey through the visuals and through the sound was that war is nonstop. You never know what's going to happen next. There's like suspense, fear, but also having to be on your toes and like work and defend and all of that stuff all at once. So it's very layered, and everything was very highly choreographed, incredibly complex, and the ensemble like cast it like they literally felt like a unit. Everything blended so cohesively together, and the goal to make it seem nonstop absolutely worked. With that, however, you do also have to think about the people and the innocent civilians that live in these areas experiencing war and how it's nonstop for them as well. And their homes are being carpet bombed. You know, they don't know if they're going to live to tomorrow. They don't know if there's going to be another attack. They're losing family left and right. There's not hospitals. There's not enough resources, food, water for them to survive on their own, let alone survive with constant attacks on them, losing their homes being invaded, not having a safe space to live. In the beginning of this film, we open in on the Navy SEAL team, and they end up breaking into an Iraqi family's home and taking it over and holding them captive as hostages throughout the entire duration of the film. So we're watching this film, and it's incredibly powerful and devastating to see the direct memories and experiences of these Navy SEALs. In the same breath, I also want to acknowledge and say that for the innocent families living in these areas experiencing war, who can't escape and they can't leave those countries, how can you not have the same sympathy for those people living in those times? I wish I could say empathy, but I could not even imagine experiencing that kind of fear and terror in your own home because it's being occupied by somebody else. I didn't really see many people talking about that on this press tour, but I think that's really important to acknowledge when you're watching the film, because we typically only ever see soldiers' perspectives in war movies. So this is really interesting and nuanced, and I think there's a lot of good reviews talking about the specifics of the 2006 Iraq War. I'm not that knowledgeable about it, truthfully, honestly with you. The reviews on TikTok, I'm talking too much. I rated it 4 stars, I really liked it, and I sobbed hysterically, and I did almost throw up. The last and final movie in this video is Final Destination 2 from 2003, directed by David R. Ellis. I fucking love Final Destination, and I watched the first one, watched the second one. I'm going to watch the third one right after this. That's why I'm kind of wrapping this up, because it's 8:42 and I want to get in bed. I got to work tomorrow. I watched it, and they're just so great. Like, I love Scream. I love the Scary Movie franchise. I love horror franchises, and I love how they can be literally whatever you want them to be. Absurd, ridiculous, terrifying, disgusting, corny. It's all great. So when Kimberly has a violent premonition of a highway pileup, she blocks the freeway, keeping a few other members meant to die safe. Or are they? The survivors mysteriously start dying, and it's up to Kimberly to stop it before she dies next. But I just thought it was great. I loved it. I fucking love Final Destination movies. I thought the kills were great. I thought the gore was awesome. What was my favorite one? If I had to pick, probably the guy, Rory, who gets split in two by the barbed wire. That was awesome. I'm excited to see the new one that's coming out, Final Destination Bloodlines, because if you've seen the trailer, oh, they're so scary. Oh, it's amazing. I love Final Destination. And this was they're all available on Max. And so I'm so excited to watch the next one. And then I'm really excited to watch I'm going to watch the entire series. Something I would like to do on my YouTube channel if anybody who's made it this far can let me know if this would be something like interesting. I would love to rank the movies in my favorite franchises. Like, I'd love to rank the Twilight movies. I'd love to rank Hunger Games. I'd love to rate Scream. I'd love to rate Scary Movie, Final Destination once I finish it, Fast and Furious, whatever, who cares? So that's it for the video. I apologize, or maybe you prefer that I didn't like rant, talk about these movies and that I didn't have any notes with me. I just kind of wanted to like freeball it and see if I liked it a little bit more. But those are the movies I watched this week. Here's my computer with updated stickers, since my computer smells like it's burning. I probably sound like a broken record, but I just want to say thank you again for anybody that reads, listens, watches anything related to Dry Gin Martini. It means the world to me. And coming up on this 1 year has just been incredible because I have so many ideas for where I want to continue to grow with Dry Gin Martini. And the fact that it's already a year is kind of crazy. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. Or don't. You know I don't care. I would love it though. I would really appreciate it. And read my blog. I never like plug my website. I always plug my Substack. But dryginmartini.com. All my blogs are there. The magazines are there as well. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel like it or don't. Till next time, stay flirty, stay thirsty, watch more movies together, make more movies together. Read my blog, check out my magazine, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you soon. Chin chin!